Hi VC, this is Chris. I'm back to do part 4 on this solo keyboard set of videos that I started. This one is more modern music based on keyboards, and I'll go through some CDs first and then I'll get to the vinyl. But first, a CD that I should have shown on the last one, which is part 3. This is Mikhashoff from Ancient Worlds for harmonic piano. So this is a music composed on a harmonic piano, which is different than a normal one. It's has more of harpsichord overtones and extended range, so you can get more notes per octave, if I remember what I read. But it makes for a little bit different listening experience than normal keyboard albums. So Mikhashoff. And then a more modern composer, György Ligeti. This is complete piano music, volume 1. I think this is a 2-volume set on BIS label. There's some world premiere recordings on this, at least at the time, which was 96. And that looks like a MC Escher woodcut artwork there on the cover of it. Sony also did a multi-volume set on various types of music by Mr. Ligeti. A couple of them are dedicated to piano, and then he's got some other stringed works and other things. So, and then Cornelius Cardew. This is piano music, 1959 to 1970. John Tilbury, who was his friend, is the pianist on this. This is Matchless Recordings. They also issued AMM band recordings. Cornelius Cardew was a member of AMM when he was doing improvisational type music. So Cornelius Cardew. And then here's an album by him. This is called, take the slipcover off, 4 Principles on Ireland and Other Pieces, 1974. This is on the Ampersand label. So this is Cornelius Cardew performing his own compositions. And then Conlon Nancarrow. This is Suites or Studies for Player Piano. He did issued 5 volumes, or Wergo issued 5 volumes of his studies for player piano. So he wasn't, he composed without worrying about what the human limitations of performing the music. Even though if it's there, then people will try to play it. But so you may hear things played faster or wider range than normally possible. But Conlon Nancarrow. So that was volume 5, volume 3 and 4, volume 1 and 2. Interesting stuff. John Cage, I've shown some of his work earlier. In a Landscape, this is Stephen Drury as the pianist, playing several piano pieces John Cage produced. This is on the Catalyst label. And then here's one called Glass Cage. by Bruce Brubaker. This is music by Philip Glass and John Cage for various solo piano compositions, played by Bruce Brubaker. This is on Arabesque. So, this has, Philip Glass on it. There are several composers that I just didn't bother to include in this, which, would have been good places to start. Terry Riley wasn't really included. I've shown some of his before, and other people have. Philip Glass, Lamont Young. I don't have anything of his on vinyl, and I don't think I have any solo piano on CDs either. It's hard to get a hold of his work. But this is Stefan Schleiermacher, piano pieces on Mode label. Primarily he just plays other people's music, but he has composed a few pieces of his own, so he got out this one CD. Stefan Schleiermacher. His name may show up on some of these other ones, I don't remember. Stefan Wolpe, piano music, played by Geoffrey Douglas Madge, who is the pianist that also did the Sorabji Clavis Sonam Graphicum, whatever it was, I forget the name, Clavis Bellicum, but it was that 4 LP set, 3-4 hours of one piece. But Geoffrey Douglas Madge. Then Christian Wolff, early piano music. This is another matchless recordings. This features John Tilbury, who was on the Cornelius Cardew CD, Christian Wolff, the composer, and Eddie Provost, who's also was a member of AMM at various times. So they're all performing this music. So obviously something on here is not just solo piano. They've got Eddie Provost doing it with percussion on here, but for the most part solo piano. And Alvin Curran. This is on Mode. And he's got a song here dedicated to Cornelius Cardew called For Cornelius. Alvin Curran. And then Alvin Hovanes. Fred the Cat. That seems, difficult to take seriously, titled Fred the Cat, but he's got other solo work, and so you just have to listen to what he's got to say. This is on the Koch label. Marvin Rosen is the pianist on this. And then George Crumb on the Centaur label, works for piano. He's got 2 volumes. Macrocosmos seems to be the biggest piece that he does. Jeffrey Jacob is the pianist on this. Volume 1, Volume 2, works for piano. Then Milton Babbitt, piano works. Jeffrey Taub, or Robert Taub, is the pianist. This is on Harmonia Mundi. Milton Babbitt. And then something more people may be familiar with. Charlemagne Palestine. Strumming music. So this is one of his albums, solo piano. And then Konrad Schnitzler. There's at least 2 albums that are solo piano, maybe 3. This one's called Klavierhelm. This is on Important Records. Konrad Schnitzler, electronic artist, was in Cluster back when they had a K, and other early German bands. And then coming to the end of these CDs, Morton Feldman, Triadic Memories. This is Aki Takahashi on piano, who I think I've shown something else that he was the pianist for. Morton Feldman. So this is one piece, 1981. I think this was issued in 89. And then another one, Morton Feldman for Bonita Marcus. And this was Hildegard Klebe was the pianist. So I've shown something else that she was the pianist on. Morton Feldman. He produces sort of quiet music. And then the last one here, Karlheinz Stockhausen, Klavierstuck. David Tudor plays the piano. He also plays some John Cage music. So he's a modern pianist, also makes his own electronic works. Karlheinz Stockhausen. This is Klavierstuck 1 through 8 and 11 on the Hat Hut label. And then that leads into Karlheinz Stockhausen, which is also, one side is Klavierstuck. This is on Mace label. Frederick Rzuski is the pianist on that, which I showed some other albums by him, including a big CD set of all his composed work. But here he's playing other people's music, in particular Mr. Stockhausen. And then Stephen Scott, music for bowed piano. So this is sort of like a prepared piano, except it's a group playing it. Each one of them has their own, task. Some of them may be tapping on strings or threading a string through there to make some other type noises, or using a little hammer. Stephen Scott, new music for bowed piano. And if I haven't said before, YouTube is a good place to hear some of these things if they're not too obscure. Now here's Piano 2. This is on the Private Music label. Who also, Jerry Goodman has been on this label, Susan Ciani. This has 4 artists on it. Yanni, who he plays solo piano versions of some of his songs from Keys to Imagination, which was his private music debut, and some other album where he plays piano versions of his music that he normally produces, which is not piano. And Susan Ciani plays piano versions of songs from her first 2 LPs, which are synthesizer based. And Joachim Kuhn and Michael Reisman also contribute original music to this series, for this particular album. There's a piano 1, which I don't think I have, which I have to try to acquire based on this one. And then piano music from Celestial Harmonies, which is the label. This has Florian Frick, Hans Otte, Peter Michael Hamill, Herbert Henk, Cecil Lytle, and Terry Riley, producing, excerpts from their various albums. So half of it is German based, and then the other half, maybe even more than half, but solo piano works from albums issued on the Celestial Harmonies label. And then on the composer recording label, CRI, new music for the piano. Robert Helps is the pianist, and he plays a variety of other artists, new piano music, including some of his own compositions. This is a 2 LP set on the CRI label. And they issued a series of albums of contemporary American piano with David and Lois Burge as the pianist. And some of them, they even include a song that they composed, and then other people get on the CRI label. And another one, David Burge. Now it's Lois Savard Burge, so her name got longer. And the last one on CRI, Yvar Mikhashoff, whose name was on one of the earlier ones or one of the later ones. I forget which, but he also had done some other music. So, American Historic Piano Sonata. Hunter Johnson, Robert Palmer, Jack Beeson are the 3 artists that he playing sonatas by on the CRI label. And then last 2, The Wind Demon and other mid-19th century piano music by Ivan Davis. This is on New World Records. This is a gatefold. Small booklet inside. Most of the people I don't recognize or have albums by other than Louis Moreau Gottschalk, famous American Louisianian composer. So just a very interesting album design here. And then the final album is Pierre Boulez Piano Sonata 2, Anton Webern, Variations Opus 27. This is on the Finnadar label, who we saw earlier had done some other interesting things. That was the Susan Ciani 7 Waves was on that label. I think there's a Philip Glass on that label, or Rzuski, but supposedly. And Pierre Boulez was influenced by Anton Webern, who was in the 30s, and then Boulez was in the late 40s with his composition. But, Finnadar. Idil Biret is the pianist, 1973. So that finishes up these more modern composers. And there may be one final part which will be keyboards in various combinations. 2 pianists, 4 hands on 1 piano, multiple pianos. Yeah, we'll see what I can come up with. So thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you later.